This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 15th day of October in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking this evening. Up till late this afternoon, there was still no sight of the three prisoners who escaped from the Lusignan jail early this morning, triggering a massive manhunt. Acting Prison Director Gladwin Samuels confirmed that the escape took place early this morning around 4:30. He said from appearances the three prisoners were able to scale the fence of the prison and made good their escape.
During the review of the CCTV footage, which concluded before the physical muster, it indicated that three prisoners went over the fence. The first prisoner would have crossed at 4:29 and the last person went over somewhere about 4:32. However, prior to the prisoners going over the fence, they would have made a lot of efforts in terms of parting the razor wire in order to make a way for them to go through. It is clear that especially taking into consideration the close proximity of the two towers and the number of ranks deployed in those two towers, that those ranks were not alert, and I'm forced to conclude that it is very likely that they were sleeping, thus resulting to them not observing the prisoners first in the attempt to get the razor wire separated in order to pass, and then during the process of them escaping by scaling the fence.
One of the prisoners has been identified as murder-accused Travis Evans. He was on remand and is originally from the Sophia area. The other two escapees have been identified as Sudish Dayal and Dextroy Pollard. The two were both in jail for break and enter and larceny. Following the escape this morning, a search was activated for the men along the East Coast corridor. The Lusignan prison is located on the east coast of Demerara and houses hundreds of inmates.
Together with the police, we would have deployed several search parties in various parts of the Region 4 and Region 3 areas in keeping with known areas that these persons are likely to be. Those searches have so far came up empty-handed. However, there are several members of the public who have been given information as it relates to sighting of strange people. And in keeping with the resources we have available, all efforts are being made to check all of those areas almost immediately upon receipt of those information. We trust that the public would not cause us to be on any wild goose chase, because resources are things that we need to monitor. But I can assure the public that all efforts are being made in terms of having these persons who are at large recaptured.
When most of the Camp Street prison was burned down just over a year ago, hundreds of prisoners were moved to the Lusignan prison, and since then they have been housed in the prison building as well as makeshift buildings in the compound. This is not the first escape to take place at the prison. An investigation is on the way as the search continues for the three men. More news coming up in a moment.
This Christmas, get a loan for your dream car with an extended repayment term. Spruce up your home with that renovation you always wanted and take advantage of low or no down payment. Get new appliances so you can cook up a storm. You'll get same-day approval. Plus, you can win a getaway to a destination of your choice. Visit RepublicGuyana.com today to find out how.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Get ready to ride it, ready to ride it, ride the wave. Open up the new vibe, drink up the boldness inside. Radical and fresh and wild, catch the wave now. Ride bold, ride fresh, ride strong, come on, ride the wave. Taste the action, satisfaction, perfection. Wave,
Ride the new wave of excitement sweeping Guyana. Wave Pale Ale, a premium, full-bodied, strong and refreshing alcoholic brew, crafted to perfection for a bold, young, radical you. Don't settle for anything less. Catch a Wave Pale Ale and ride it today.
Wave Pale Ale,
crafted to perfection.
Experience our future together at the inaugural Green Guyana Expo and International Small Business Summit, Guyana National Stadium, October 18th to the 20th. Guyana's first-of-a-kind expo supporting the Green State Development Strategy for building the world's first green economy. See and learn how we will protect our environment, preserve our biodiversity, promote the use of renewable energy, and adapt to climate change. The Green Guyana Expo and International Small Business Summit, October 18th to the 20th, Guyana National Stadium, Providence. Start your journey at greenguyana.gov.gy or at Green Guyana on social media.
Welcome back. Well, 2 weeks after launching the opening of its law firm in Houston, Texas to work along with companies looking to invest in Guyana's oil and gas sector, the Hughes, Fields and Stobie law firm has found itself in defense mode. The company issued a statement this morning in response to a front-page story carried in today's Stabroek News. The story quotes the head of Transparency Institute Guyana Incorporated, Dr. Troy Thomas, as expressing concern about the conflict of interest because of the links between Government Minister Kathy Hughes and the Hughes, Fields and Stobie law firm. Minister Hughes, who is responsible for public telecommunications, is married to attorney Nigel Hughes, who is a senior partner of the law firm. In its statement signed by senior partners attorney Nigel Hughes and senior counsel Andrew Pollard, the law firm said it was never contacted on the issue, and had any investigation been done, several issues would have been cleared up. According to the firm, the minister did declare her interest to the cabinet on the issue of the relationship between the firm and herself. The minister also declared her interest to the Integrity Commission. Additionally, according to the company, Minister Hughes has sought independent legal advice in the matter. The company said its law offices may have never been contacted on the issue before it made the front page of today's Stabroek News. The article, according to the law firm, sought to lay emphasis on the fact that the firm had announced that it would be performing the role of legislative watchdog. The company said, like every other private organization, it will have access to the process without any special privileges. The firm said its representation of major players in the oil industry preceded the minister's appointment to cabinet as Minister of Tourism and now Minister of Public Telecommunications, and it does not and has not placed its integrity as the basis for any special consideration, for favorable or other consideration. The company says it has been open, transparent, and clear in the expression of its intentions in Guyana and in Houston, Texas, and did not seek to hide the establishment of its Houston office without any local announcement. Let's tell you now that a self-proclaimed Guyanese-born bishop who stabbed his wife to death during an argument at their Trinidad home was arrested last evening at a friend's home in the Twin Island Republic. The man has been identified as Melroy Corbin and is a Guyanese national. The dead woman has been identified as Alyssa Ali, also known as Mother Alyssa. She was described as a pastor. The two reportedly operated a religious organization in Trinidad that performed various types of rituals for persons who were willing to pay, according to a relative who asked to remain anonymous. The relative said after the two got married a few years ago, the man's relatives stayed away from them because of the work that they were involved in. The relative is convinced that it might be a case of their own work backfiring on them since the man was never known to be a violent person. Just last week, the woman changed her Facebook photograph to a poster with the words, "Keep calm, remember Obia kills." The husband, Melroy Corbin, is a former boxer who lived and grew up in Linden before moving to Trinidad and Tobago. According to the press in Trinidad, the couple got into an argument on Saturday night and Corbin repeatedly stabbed the wife to death until she collapsed. A young grandchild witnessed the entire incident. The suspect was arrested on Sunday night and he's to be charged with the woman's murder soon. Meanwhile, in Caribbean Berbice, police there are preparing to take a man to court after he stabbed his lover to death yesterday morning. The man, according to villagers, is known to be mentally unstable. The dead woman has been identified as 38-year-old Iranda Frank. It appears as though she did not have a chance of survival as she was brutally stabbed 3 times to the neck at her Crane Street home. A police statement said persons in the area saw the man chasing after the woman in the street, and he was able to corner her after she fell into a drain. It was then that he attacked her and stabbed her repeatedly. After stabbing the woman in the drain, the assailant reportedly held onto her and kissed her. The two had only been living together for the past 2 weeks. The accused, according to the police, was deported from the US 10 years ago. He was arrested at the scene covered in mud as the undertakers removed the woman's lifeless body. An investigation is underway and it will be up to the court to call in a psychiatrist to assess whether the man is fit to stand trial. A 28-year-old community policing officer has found himself on the wrong side of the law, facing a murder charge. The accused, Tony George, appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court this morning before the Chief Magistrate and was not required to enter a plea to the charge that he murdered Ricardo Singh back in July. The court was told that after arresting Singh for a wedding house brawl, the accused stabbed the man to the chest before taking him to the police. It was at the police station that it was noticed that the arrested man was bleeding. He was taken to the hospital where he died. The accused had first denied any involvement, but interviews with a number of persons pointed fingers at him. Attorney Dexter Todd is representing the interests of the accused. He will be back in court later this month. And finally tonight, early Saturday morning, the police carried out its Operation Restore Order in the Sophia area. Before sunrise, scores of policemen moved into B fields of fire and carried out searches at a number of areas. Among the items seized were motorcycles, bicycles, and cell phones and laptops. All of the items are believed to have been stolen or obtained unlawfully. A man who was wanted for a series of offenses was also arrested and taken into custody. Several other persons were also arrested. Most of the residents cooperated with the police, who were very professional in the conduct of the operation.
I don't sell drugs, me not no illegal guns and ammunition. Everybody know them, it's amongst all child. I don't do my gala parade and I don't make my name. Right now I rock back and I enjoy life with my grandchildren them. I got my son in jail, I gotta watch you back. Right? And I not gonna do nothing silly and stupid, but can't be there as a fit model.
A few weeks ago, a similar exercise took place in the Agricola area on the east bank of Demerara. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.